Hello YouTuber, Reservoir Warrior here, and by the time I upload this video, it will be exactly 1 month before this booster set is supposed to come out, which is V Booster Set 2 Strongest Team AL4. Came out in Japan on August 31st, which coincidentally is the same day we got the Leon trial deck. And yeah, so this releases October 19th, 2018, which I think is a day or, whatchamacallit? A day, no, I mean a week or two before my birthday, so, each display includes one VR, so, when I got my first ever Vanguard box, when I got my first box of the newly revamped Vanguard, which is what, V, I think we call it? So when I got my first box of Q4, I thought I was just lucky enough to get a VR and then the Imager, but no, I guess you do get a VR in every box, just even with the extra boosters. Which does make sense, it does make it a little easier for deck building as well, in a way. Or easier to trade cards as well, for cards you actually need. So I love how they do that. And that includes 4 secret gift markers with illustrations featuring the characters and hot stamp signatures of those characters' voice actors. I'm guessing those gift markers are not going to be guaranteed in every box, like I found out they were with Q4. I was lucky enough to get the character gifts. Haven't gotten a signed one. My friend Brandon did get this signed Leon one from the Asia Circuit trial deck, or I mean the Asia Circuit extra booster, which I didn't even know existed in there, but it does. And I'm guessing it's going to have Asuka, Tetsu, Ren, and I forgot the younger guy. I forget the other guy's name. I'm bad. Each card includes a Team AL4 rubber playmat that's Japanese version only, and if someone can oh, there we go. Let's get rid of... I don't know why that was there. Like, it showed the link I was at, which I'm clearly on the Cardfight Vanguard wiki. There's no surprise. And I do have a bunch of tabs open, too, just to go through, like, differences in card arts and whatnot. Not for every card, but for the Origin Rares, and then some of the other major cards, like Phantom Blaster Dragon and whatnot. But, there we go. Display includes a Force Excel and Protect gift marker, obviously, with one of them having a unit illustration. Okay, so one is also going to have a unit illustration, which is cool. Oh, Kyo? Is that how you pronounce his name? That's the one member I forget the name of. And then this has Shadow Paladin, Murakumo, Dark Irregulars, and Pale Moon. Ren, for those of you who don't know, Ren uses Shadow Paladin. Kyo uses Murakumo, Tetsu uses Dark Irregulars, and then Asuka uses Pale Moon. And I do not like the sound my laptop is making right now. Anyway, let's get on with the list, shall we? So I'm not going to go through every single card. I'm probably just going to go with... This is going to be a long video in case you guys didn't know, obviously, because we're going over the set. So I'm going to show all the VR's triple rares, double rares, and maybe, and probably the rares as well, and then the commons I'm not even going to bother with, but we do also have a image rare, which is Blaster Dark, and I don't know if we're going to get like a origin rare for it or not, but we're going to start things off here with Phantom Blaster Dragon. And so, Phantom Blaster Dragon's effect is... Counterblast 1 and retire 3 rear guards. Your opponent chooses 3 of his or her rear guards and retires them. This unit gets power plus 15,000 plus 1 critical until end of turn. And then once per turn, if your opponent has 4 or less cards in his or her damage zone and no rear guards, Soul Blast 1, grade 3, and deal 1 damage to your opponent's Vanguard. So this is new Phantom Blaster Dragon, and here's old Phantom Blaster Dragon. Yeah, they both have different effects. If you have a card named Blaster Dark in your soul, this unit gets power plus 1000, and then Counterblast 2 and choose 3 of your Shadow Paladin rear guards and retire them. This unit gets power plus 10,000 critical. No, plus 10,000 power, plus 1 until end of turn. So yeah, this new Phantom Blaster Dragon is a lot better than the old one. Although artwork-wise, I don't know, I kind of like the old one. I like the old one. I like how the dragon looks on the old one, but I love the background on this one more. So we can get rid of that tag. We can get rid of that tab. And move on to the next card here, which is Dueling Dragons and Baku, which is going to be your Murakumo VR. Once per turn, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 card with Arrestor in its card name, call it to rear circle, shuffle your deck, and this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. If right Arrestor and left Arrestor are on your rear guard circle, your opponent cannot ride a grade 3 or greater from a grade 3 on his or her next ride phase. Now I'm wondering if we can still superior call, just like how Aichi did in the anime. I'm sure that still applies, but yeah, that is still crazy. What the good thing, though, is unlike the anime, we can actually still stand our grade 3. We just cannot ride. Pretty sure we can still stand the unit, right? Anyway, so that's the new Dueling Dragons and Baku. And here's the old one. I like the artwork on the new one a lot more. Alright, so if you have a non-Murakumo Vanguard or Rear Guard, this unit gets power minus 2,000. At the beginning of your opponent's ride phase, if your opponent has a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, your opponent may choose a card from his or her hand and discard it. If your opponent does not, your opponent cannot normal ride during that ride phase. So a little bit different with Zenbaku. Once again, I feel like this one is better. Artwork's better too, in my opinion. Next up is going to be the Dark Irregular VR. Which is, oh, did I forget one? Oh, I know. Never mind. I thought I forgot a tab, but I didn't. So here is No Life King Death Anchor. Which I already have a sample of, that's cool. One plays Soul Charger 1, and this unit gets power plus 2,000 until end of turn for each card in your soul. I think that's what Dark Irregulars' main focus is, soul charging. At the end of the battle that this attacked, if you have 13 or more cards in your soul, well, yeah, that just confirmed what I said earlier, or like a second ago. Counterblast 1 and put a card from your hand and 3 rear guards into your soul. Write a card from your soul as stand, and that unit gets critical plus 1 until end of turn. That's going to be a pretty fun card, honestly. And then it has the Protect Imaginary Gifts. And then here's the old one. As I knock down my mic here. Both artworks are actually nice. It would have been cool to have this artwork with the new foiling, in my opinion. So if the number of Dark Irregulars in your soul is 8 or more, this unit gets plus 1,000. At the beginning of your main phase, Soul Charge 1, and this unit gets power plus 2,000 until end of turn. And then choose 5 face-up Dark Irregulars from your damage zone and put them into your soul. Wow, okay. Well, this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets power plus 10,000. Critical plus 1 until end of turn, and at the beginning of the end phase of that turn, put 5 cards from the top of your deck into your damage zone. Okay, I was going to say, that sounds a little too OP if that damage doesn't go back. But, yeah, so they pretty much just simplified Death Anchor. Which I think is pretty cool. But anyway, moving on. I don't know how good a lot of these are going to be, but I'm glad they pretty much buffed up Phantom Blaster Dragon. I feel like they've buffed up pretty much all of these main Vanguards. Finally, we have Golden Beast Tamer. And let me just say, I love this artwork a lot more than her old one, which we will see in a sec. Because, like I mentioned, we're going to compare the effects of both the old and new ones. So if you have 5 or more units during your turn, all of your front row units get power plus 3,000. And then when it attacks, counterblast the one and put a card from your hand into your soul, and call up to 2 cards from your soul to rearguard. So that's pretty cool. And now here is the old Golden Beast Tamer. Like I said, I like the art. Well, this one kind of looks like Asuka in a way, so I guess that's pretty cool. But she has. Oh yeah, I remember some Vanguards had Restraint back in the old game. And then you would have to Soul Blast 3 for her to lose Restraint until end of turn. And then during your turn, all of your Pale Moon rear guards in your front row get power plus 3000. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, choose a Pale Moon Chimera from your soul and call it to rear guard. Yeah, this new Golden Beast Tamer is definitely better. If you're a Pale Moon fan, you are probably happy about that. Now we're going to move on to the triple rares of the set. And our first one actually happens to have an origin rare. So here is Darkness, Main, and Maka. Not sure if I like the new art or the old art more. This one definitely looks more animated. Which, I mean, I don't mind, but counterblast 1 and call a grade 1 or less card for... Oh, okay, no. I thought it said Soul Blast before that. Anyway, but this is both a Vanguard or a rear guard ability. Counterblast 1 and call a grade 1 or less from your hand to rear guard circle. Draw a card and this unit gets power plus 5000 until end of turn. Nifty card, which I know Shadow Paladins always used. And then here's Old Maka. Counterblast 2 when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle or rear guard. If you have a Shadow Paladin Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 or less Shadow Paladin, call it rear in the same column as this unit, and shuffle your deck. I do like the new one more. I think the new one is definitely more viable. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, next card I have up to show is Skullwitch Nebin. I think that's the only non-OR I picked out to show the different artworks of. But, oh, she's next anyway. Cool. So here's a Skullwitch Nebin. I definitely like her old art more. I mean, both are revealing, but still. Anyway, she has a... I think this one has... Does she have more power than the old one? We'll find out in a sec. I don't remember, but what I do remember is when Shadow Paladins first came out and everything, this is like a $20+ card. I still have my copy. It did get damaged over the years, like it has a crease running down the middle. When I do a Shadow Paladin deck profile, I will show that, but I'm glad I found that card still. And I keep it regardless. Rest this unit, search your deck for up to 1 card with power 5000, call it to an open rear circle, and shuffle your deck. This ability can be used up to 1 time each turn, even with cards with the same card name, so that's pretty cool. And then here's the old Skullwitch, Nebin, however you want to say it. Love this artwork more, in my opinion. Counterblast 1 and choose a Shadow Paladin from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on rear, if you have a Shadow Paladin Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards. Wow, this new one's better too. And plus, the new one has 5,000, this one has 3,000. So I remember in early Shadow Paladin builds, we used her. In later Shadow Paladin builds, we did not use her. As you can see why. But, still. Glad a lot of cards I remember are getting better. I hate repeating myself, but, you know, that's what I've been... You know, it's just what it is. Anyway. Who's next? Swift Archer Fushimi. This artwork reminds me of Takumi from Fire Emblem. Like, exactly like Takumi from Fire Emblem. Like that pose and everything. Anyway. During a turn, if you have 4 more rear guards, this unit gets power plus 5,000, which probably explains why he's at 9k instead of 10k. I feel like a lot of grade 2s are at 9k, unless you're Dimensional Police. Anyway, when placed, choose one of your units, and that unit can even attack units in the back row until end of turn. That's pretty fun. That's actually a fun effect. And let's see his old art. Or, I'm sorry, is he an Origin? Yeah, he's an origin rare, right? There's the old art, which I don't mind either. Either or isn't bad. When this unit rides Murakumo, this unit gets, if this unit would attack, it may instead attack an opponent's unit in the back row until end of turn. Wow, like I said, they are really making the old cards better. It's good. I don't see why anyone would complain about that. Sorry if you guys hear the TV in the background. I never like you. Well, I mean, it was at 2%. It was at 2. I doubt it. And come on, come on, laptop. Why are we freezing? Freezing is bad. We don't want it to freeze. Oh, I could have just clicked right there too. I'm dumb. It happens. We'll just refresh, because that works too, right? Anyway. 16-minute mark. Not too bad. I guess this video isn't going to be as long as I expected, because once we get to the rares, it's just like reading off of... I don't even know if I'm actually going to go over the rares or not. Maybe the more notable ones. We'll see. I'm actually going to pause the video here and see what's up. Literally, as I said, let me pause the video to see what's up and refresh the page. It comes back. Of course. Of course, that's how things work. Anyway, next up is Gwyn the Ripper. Wonder how his art's gonna look. It's a he, right? It's gotta be a he. Oh, that looks more menacing than his old one. I like it. Once again, he is an origin rare, so... when played, Soul Charge 1, if your soul has 10 or more cards, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. That's pretty fun. That's gonna be fun for the deck. And then here's the old one. New one's definitely a lot better. Counterblast 2, when this unit is placed on Vanguard or rear circle. If you have a Dark Irregulars Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and retire it. I mean, what's great about this effect is you just have to have a Dark Irregular Vanguard and Counterblast 2, and then you don't get rid of one of your opponent's rear guards. But why this one's better, you're easily going to have 10 or more cards in your soul. It's only Counterblast of 1, and it's not limited to just grade 2 or less. So, you know, if you're against a deck that actually needs grade 3s as rear guards, you can take care of one of those with Gwyn the Ripper here. And then I only have one more tab left, which is good. I have a piece of chocolate in my mouth, I'm sorry. Oh boy, this is going to be fun to pronounce. We have Vrokalakis. I actually think that's the best way. That's the best I'm gonna pronounce that. When it is retired from guard circle, you may soul charge 1, so that's cool. So you're gonna want to guard with this card. When it is put into your soul due to your card's ability, if it is your turn, one of your vanguards gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn. That's pretty nifty. And then you can easily get this card into your soul with the card's ability, because like I said, that's what Dark Irregulars do. They use their effects to get cards into the soul. So that's gonna be an interesting card as well. You know what? I'm gonna plug in my laptop because I don't know how much battery power I have left. But to be on the safe side, Nightmare Doll Alice. This is the last. This is the last card I'm gonna differentiate because it is an OR. I think I like this artwork more than the old one. When placed, call to one Workeroid from your soul to rear, and that unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. And then at the end of the battle that it attacked, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 and put this unit into your soul, and call a card other than grade 3 from your soul to rear. Not too bad. And then here's our old Nightmare Doll Alice, which I believe I pulled at least one of. I know I bought a lot of set 3 because I wanted Tsukiyomi, And that's going to be the same, too, in, if we ever do get Tsukiyomi in, V. I'm not sure. I don't even know if Misaki uses that in, this anime. Because I know it's based more on the manga, so we'll see. Counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul. When this unit attack hits, if you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a Pale Moon other than a card named Nightmare Doll Alice from your soul, and call it to rearguard. What's good about this one is it doesn't say it can't be a grade 3, so that's pretty nice. But honestly, I don't know which one I'd say is better. I know we want to assume the new one's better, but that may not necessarily be true. More attack power, though, so that is always nice. And our last triple rare is a grade 1 for Pale Moon, which is Purple Trapezist. Gotta love the fan service in Vanguard, right? Anyway, when it is put in your soul from rear, Soul Blast 1 Purple Trapezist, and call a card from your soul to rear. You may use this card itself for the cost too. Oh, that's cool. That's not bad. That's interesting. I wonder how that's exactly going to work. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Pale Moon, only from like the anime and whatnot. Alrighty. So, now moving on to double rares, we have Blaster Rapier. Congratulations! I guess this is a promo card. Yeah, okay, it is a promo card of some sort. Thanks for answering my question. I wonder if this is going to be one of those, like, box promos like I got with Q4. Because I got 4 promo cards, 1 for each clan. I wonder if that's what this one is. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more units with Blaster in their card names, this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. And then when an attack hits a Vanguard, Counterblast 1, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. I don't think it's going to be that hard to get those effects off. Because I'm pretty sure Phantom Blaster Dragon counts. You're going to be using Blaster Dark a lot. Just like how Royal Paladins use Blaster Blade a lot. You might have another one of these on your board too. Or you'll have Blaster Javelin. Which is a Trial Deck exclusive, but still a, I think it's still a needed card in Shadow Paladin decks. There's Blaster Dagger, love the artwork on this card. I was about to say, I hope this is a foil. Yeah, this is foil, so that's good. When it's attack or an attack that it boosted hits a Vanguard, put this unit into your soul. Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. Okay, so it's... There are a lot of cards that have that beginning effect, that when an attack or an attack that it boosted hits a Vanguard, put this unit into your soul. I know a lot of other cards that have that effect, but what's nice about this one is, again, retire your opponent's rear guard, which is what Shadow Paladins love doing. So they do what Blaster Blade does, but a little bit better, in my opinion. And then here is the perfect card for Shadow Paladin. Dark Shield Macular. This one looks cooler than its old artwork, too. Just your simple Sentinel. Nothing really to explain there. You're going to want to pick these up, though, because your trial deck has the level 1 Sentinel, or grade 1 Sentinel, and I don't really like using those. Now with Murakumo. Covert Demonic Dragon, Mandala Lord. Or Mandala Lord, however you want to pronounce it. When placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose 2 of your units, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as each of those units, call them to separate rear, and shuffle your deck. And then once per turn, put a card into your soul from your hand, and all your units with the same card name as this unit get power plus 3,000 until end of turn. That's pretty cool. I guess that's like, obviously a good second option for Rakumo Vanguard. Or maybe Twin Swordsman Musashi will be. Oh, this reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I want to say Knight of Black Lotus, but I could be wrong. But anyway, when it attacks, if you have more rear guards than your opponent until end of that battle, this unit gets power plus 5,000. And while your opponent calls guardians from his or her hand, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. Ooh, so that forces your opponent to really deplete their defenses. That's kind of cool. And then Stealth Beast leaves Mirage. Oh, that's the perfect card. Okay. Don't really need to explain much there. We're just going to show the art. That's also why I'm doing this video, so you get a sneak peek at the artworks. Unless you are a person who buys Japanese boxes, then you already know. Which, of course, I have nothing against. There are many instances where I've been thinking about picking up Japanese boxes. Especially, like, in the early days of Vanguard, because I'm like, oh, I want to test these cards out, but I don't feel like doing all these translations and whatnot. So here's our other grade 3 for Pale Moon, Demon Eater. I remember her in the anime a lot, the old one. Artwork's better in this one, too, than the old. When your Guardian is retired, you may put that card into your soul. That's cool. When it attacks, counterblast one and put one of your other rear guards into your soul. Draw a card until end of that battle. It gets power plus 10,000. Soul Blast 10, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels from his or her hand. Yeah, that second one, I feel like is a little too situational, because you're not sure if your opponent has a Sentinel in your hand. And if you're versing my Aquaforce deck, that's never gonna happen, because I never draw my dang Sentinels, like I said in my deck profile. Anyway, it's just funny how I never draw those. Or if I do, it's too late. What is next? Doreen the Thruster. What does she do? I like the artwork on this card, actually. Whoop, we don't want to see comments. When a card is put into your soul due to your card's ability, this unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. If you soul charge to it once, you can double that and make it plus 10,000. So that's awesome. It's pretty nifty, actually. That's a pretty bulky grade 1 then. And I don't think it's going to be too hard to get her effect off either. And then March Rabbit of Nightmare Land. Definitely something out of Alice in Wonderland, right? But yeah, there's the Sentinel. So basically what Sentinels do when placed, discard a card from your hand, and one of your units cannot be hit until end of that battle. Probably should have said that in the beginning. You know, in case you're new to Vanguard and never knew what those did. Or why people ran them. I thought there was a book crawling, but that was just the light of my microphone. That's great. Alright, what do we got now? Artilleryman? Yeah, you wouldn't think you'd actually have a male grade 3 in Pale Moon, but yeah. During your turn, this unit gets power plus 3,000 for each card in your soul. I feel like you could definitely abuse your soul, so that has a lot of power. Once per turn, put 2 cards from your hand into your soul and draw a card. Well, there you go. So that's like instant plus 6k. When its attack hits, you may counterblast 1. If you do not, put all the cards in your soul into the drop zone. Make sure you counterblast then, because you don't want to put you don't want to deplete your soul, because that's what Pale Moons also do. They work with the soul. I can say words correctly. Next up we have Jumping Jill. Interesting artwork. Looks like a younger, I was gonna say younger Len from Fire Emblem, but then Sylvia looks younger than Len, but Len is Sylvia's daughter, so I guess we could say she looks like a younger Sylvia. Anyway, when placed from soul, put one of your other rear guards into your soul. Call a card other than grade 2 from your soul to rear in the back row. That's actually good that it says call a card other than grade 2 to the back row, because you're going to want a grade 1 in the back row anyway. So, another interesting card. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's like, I only remember Shadow Paladins. Like, that's honestly all I care about from this set. And here's Hades Hypnotist. That looks cool, actually. That's your Sentinel for Pale Moon. We're about the 30-minute mark. I thought we'd be around the 40-minute mark by now. So with the rares, I'm only going to go with the ones I'm familiar with. Like with Shadow Paladin, I'm going to go through these first two. For Murakumo, actually, Bloody Mist, Right Arrestor, and Left Arrestor, those sound familiar. For Dark Irregulars, probably Werewolf, Seeger, and then there's another Perfect Guard, which I want to look at. And then I'll look at Nitro Juggler, Midnight Buddy, for Pale Moon. And Entire Monkey, because, once again, that's another Perfect Guard, and I'd like to look at all the other Perfect Guards that are in here. Or Sentinels, whatever you want to call them. So let's look at Dark Mage Badbakar, because I remember for budget players, this was not a bad grade 3. Whoa, and he looks different. Once per turn, Soul Blast will look at the top card of your deck and call it a rear, or put it into your drop zone. If you call it, that unit gets power plus 5,000 till end of turn, and at the end of that turn, retire that unit. So that's the only downside, you have to retire it. But I mean, if it's the case of that Skull Witch Nemen happens to be the card that you called, not a bad move. And what's cool is that's a rear or Vanguard effect. So if you're a budget player, Badbakar, not a bad option at all. And I would also recommend picking up a trial deck because I do like the Dark Dictator a lot as well. Like, I'm definitely running at least 2 Dark Dictators in whatever Shadow Paladin deck I build. Where are we? Oh yeah, Crystallancer. I remember that was one of my favorite Shadow Paladins. This artwork looks nice too. Forget the old artwork, but this one looks cool. When this card would be called from hand, it must be called to rear with a unit, so I guess it has to have a unit behind it. When plays Soul Blast 1, this unit gets power plus 10,000 till end of turn. If your damage zone has no face-up cards, countercharge 1. That's cool. So it can fix your counterblasting as well. That's nifty. And what I do love is that it has plus 10k. Or I mean, it has 10k right out of the bat. So that's a grade 2 I'm probably going to put in my deck as well. I don't care if it's good or not. Player preference. But anyway. Okay, Bloody Mist, right Arrestor, then Left Arrestor. So here's Bloody Mist. If you don't have another Stealth Beast Bloody Mist on rear, Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Bloody Mist, call to rear, shuffle your deck, and it gets power minus 4,000 till end of turn. I don't know why this card would be good, actually. Someone enlighten me on why this card would be good. Because I don't see why this card would be good. Maybe the fact that you could call another one despite the power decrease can help you get off other effects. That's what I'm assuming. A Right Arrestor is definitely an important card, and one you must run in a Murakumo deck. When placed, if your Vanguard is Dueling Dragons and Baku, and you have another rearguard with Arrestor in its card name, Counterblast 2, and put a unit into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and that unit cannot stand on your opponent's next stand phase. Oh, okay, so that's what it was. So basically, you combo Zenbaku with Arrestor, and now your opponent cannot even stand their grade 3. Okay, so yes, if you superior call, then it should, then Right Arrestor and Zenbaku's effects will not matter. It's just like Yu-Gi-Oh! With Super Poly and Mikazuchi, I believe it's called, the, what you would call the Abyss Scale? I forget. But yeah, think of it like that. But yeah, that is why Right Arrestor is a must-run. Probably a must-run at 4. And then same thing with Zenbaku, you're going to want to run 4. I feel like that's the same with, like, every main Vanguard, though. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have another rearguard with Arrestor in its card name, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets power plus 5,000 to end that battle. This one's okay. I don't like how... I guess it's... No, I do like the fact that you have to soul charge instead of counterblast, but still. It's like that could have been better. And then let's look at Stealth Fiend Hammer Kappa. Let's see what this one... Oh, okay. So, grade 1 Sentinels are just like your grade 0 Sentinels, but you don't want to waste a grade 1 spot on a Sentinel. I'm not even sure for budget players that's even a good option, because from what I've noticed, Sentinels really aren't that much. I think the most I paid was like $3 for a Sentinel. So, let's go with a Werewolf Seeger, because I know that was a card Tetsu used a lot in the anime. Look at that creepy artwork. During your turn, if you have 5 or more cards in your soul, this unit gets power plus 5,000, so basically this is going to be always swinging for 14. And then when it attacks well, there you go. And then when it attacks a Vanguard, soul charge 2. That's only a Vanguard ability. The other one is if it's Vanguard or Rear. So basically you're just going to have a 14k grade 2 always attacking. Which is nice, especially if you're like me and love to play aggro. So I guess we'll see this artwork. I like this artwork, actually. Anyway, but yeah, I don't really recommend running grade 1 Sentinels unless you rather play more fronts and not any draws, because your Sentinels are going to be... Your grade 0 Sentinels are going to be draw triggers as well. Which, you know, isn't entirely a bad thing. I thought that said butt monkey instead of entire monkey. That's funny. Yeah, look at Nitro Juggler and Midnight Bunny. So there's Nitro Juggler. In place from hand, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Put 1 card from among them into your soul. And... Whoop. We don't need comments. And put 1 card from among them on the bottom of your deck. Almost like an OTT thing going on there. OTT meaning Oracle Think Tank. Anyway. Midnight Bunny, that was the other one. That card definitely sounded familiar. When it boosts, Soul Charge 1. When an attack that it boosted hits the Vanguard... Or just when an attack that it boosted hits, Counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul, and call a non-grade 1 card from your soul to rear. That's cool, so you could call a 2 or a 3. Nifty. I feel like you would run this, and I feel like this is one of those cards you would run at 4 in Pale Moon. And then let's look at Entire Monkey. I was about to say, are there any mages we're getting for, or not, wait, are there any witches we're getting for Shadow Paladin in this? Because I want to look at that too. Because I remember when witches came out for both Genesis and Shadow Paladin, I wanted to build those so badly. Build a Genesis witch deck, but not for Shadow Paladin, unfortunately. No, it doesn't look like it. Mage of Destruction, okay. Nightmare Painter sounds familiar. Not gonna look at it though. Dang, okay, I thought there was another witch in this set, but I was wrong. Oh, well, Skull Witch. Never, there we go. And anyway, this is what the imagery is going to look like, so a little spoiler here. It's pretty much like Blaster Blade, except, Oh, I'm actually going to have to do the annoying thing, which is, click on the card, and then do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then wait for all this to move, and there you go. That's what the, OR looks like. So pretty much exactly like Aichi's Blaster Blade, except Blaster Dark, more evil, and red. Hopefully we get a, hopefully in the future we get a Misaki OR. Oh boy. Am I fanboying now? Great. I sound like I sound like a fanboy. Oh well. Anyway, so that is going to do it for my set analysis of booster set Shargus Team AL4. Comparing it to these clans from like the original Vanguard, definitely a huge improvement. It's going to be fun seeing what people do with these decks, and obviously I feel like they will stand well against other decks. We'll see how OP Shadow Paladins are, because they're definitely more OP than they were in the past. And I mean, when they first came out, they were pretty deadly too, but these new Shadow Paladins are definitely better. I feel like that is going to be the more dominant deck out of this set, only because, you know, they benefit from the extra booster. Or I meant, they're not the extra booster. They're going to benefit from the trial deck. And I usually say that's the case with a lot of decks that also come out with a trial deck, but that's not necessarily true, so... Anyway, that is going to do it. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts on the set, and let me know which cards you are excited for, which deck you're going to build, and which card or cards you guys are really hoping to pull. And like I said, I know my friend and I are definitely splitting a sneak peek kit, and then I know I know for me I'm at least buying 4. I'd love to split a case with someone if I could. Or I may just end up buying 6 boxes. It really depends on pulls, honestly, but... my main focus is building Shadow Paladin. My backup would probably be Pale Moon. But, because that's a deck I haven't actually ever tried building, so I feel like that'd be fun to, to build that deck. Anyway, that's it for now. Once again, sorry this was a long video. I did warn you guys, though, and that pretty much does happen with set analysis. You know, if I knew the clans better, this would have been a little better. That probably is going to be the case with our next extra booster, which is Team Ultra Rare. So we're going to have Suiko, Korn, and Rekka. I know Suiko uses Angel Feather, which is a clan I used a lot in the original Vanguard. Korn has Gold Paladins, which I hate. And then Rekka has Neo Nectar, which is a clan I never built, but was always interested in building, so... yeah. Anyway, but I don't think that set comes out till December, so we have plenty of time to look at that, obviously. We don't even know everything that comes out in it yet. Like, the whole set isn't confirmed, there's just, like... I think a few confirmed cards. But we do know it's those 3 characters, and we know it's those 3 clans. Other than that, everything else is pretty much a mystery. So, once again, thank you all for watching. I hated repeating myself. I do it a lot, I know. You guys don't need to tell me. Not that you guys ever do, but my friends in real life do. Just a bad habit of mine. Anyway, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.